Hey guys, welcome to another commentary done by Diggity. This is actually going to be done especially for the Reddit community. I saw a post on the front page from the gift section where basically the gist of it was that Starcraft is very confusing for people who aren't from the Starcraft, who do not play Starcraft or are not super familiar with Starcraft. Trying to watch it competitively is very difficult, so I'm going to try to make an entry-level commentary here. Please give me feedback as to what's confusing and what's not. And this is what I have a passion for, is getting people into StarCraft, specifically StarCraft 2, the esport. Anyhow, this is from MLG Columbus, one of the major tournaments in the StarCraft 2 competitive scene. Bottom left-hand corner, we have DignitasSjow going up against JulyZerg. This is the second match between the two, and it is on the map Tal Darim Altar, which tends to favor more, because it's a large map, and because there's a lot of expansions, and also because it's just the architecture, the way things are positioned, it tends to be more of a macro-oriented map, meaning it tends to favor economic styles of play rather than the quick, aggressive, attacking style of play. In the upper right-hand corner, we have JulyZerg. Again, Blue Zerg, he has a long history behind him. He is a professional from Korea. He actually played in Brood War and won a Golden Mouse, meaning he won several championship bouts. And as a result, he's a legend in Brood War. Switching over to StarCraft 2, he's a very strong player and has a lot of history and strong play behind him. He's going up against DignitasSjow from Dignitas, one of the very strong teams in Europe. Show, one of their highlight players, is very intelligent, is mostly known for having very solid build orders, which is the order in which you build units and things depending on, so for example, I'll show you JulyZerg's base in a second. He's opening up with a refinery to get some gas and some barracks to build marines. So build order here, we have JulyZerg actually opening up with what's called a 15 hatchery. So on his 15th supply, he planted a natural expansion hatchery. This is the nearest expansion, which is most easily defended. So he's going to be able to produce, what it'll give him is another hatchery, another kind of base where he can produce units. He'll get additional larvae, and he'll be able to basically get a quick economic lead over DignitasSjow. In the meantime, he's also built an extractor to mine gas and a spawning pool to build zerglings with those larvae. JulyZerg, where most people, a little bit more history, where most people will opt to play passively as Zerg and just continue to build drones, and nothing but drones to build that strong economy, and then once they feel like they have a big enough economy, they will just switch over to nothing but units. He actually plays a little bit more aggressively and will throw in units a lot more early in the match and a lot more frequent than other Zerg players will. As a Zerg player, you only get so many larvae at various stages off these hatcheries, and you have to produce either a drone, an overlord, or an attack unit essentially. So either you're building your economy or you're building your army. There's really no in between. So you have to be very careful with your decision making in that regard. So spawning pool is up. That will allow him to produce these zerglings off these larvae, most likely, so he can counter the initial marine or whatever Show is putting out. It looks like Show is in fact opted to build a reactor that will allow him, so he's got an initial marine he built, then he's going to build this reactor to speed up the production. This is actually kind of a black box. It will go on any Terran production facility, allow you to build units twice as fast. That factory is going to switch out so he can build Hellions. Hellions do much better against Zerglings than flat Marines. Marines, while they're very strong in large numbers, when you're talking about even numbers, particularly early game, 4 Zerglings can easily, with some, 4 Zerglings can usually kill 3 Marines depending on how they're managed. But Hellions are very strong, they're very fast, they're more durable. They're a little bit more of an early economic investment. You could be building additional Marines or be saving up to take an expansion here if you were Show. But what he's going to try to do instead is take a degree of map control, because the Zerglings can't just wander an open field once these Hellions are out. Looks like they haven't been scouted. So now JulyZerg knows they're coming. What this is going to force JulyZerg to do as well is defend up. So he sees the Hellions. He immediately gets a Spinecrawler defensive structure, and he's immediately going to move his Queens forward to provide some defense as well, because Hellions also chew through drones rather rapidly. He's going to produce some additional Zerglings. But once the speed upgrade kicks in, the Zerglings will be much better against these Hellions. They'll have a little bit more of a mobility and advantage versus these Hellions. They'll still be very fragile, but they'll be mobile. They'll be able to dance around and things like that and keep up with the Hellions' raw speed. So the Hellions looking for a place where they can sneak through and attack those drone lines. They can outmaneuver the Queens, but the Queens and the Zerglings boxing them out. Hellions still taking some free damage. You can see where they can take a lot of hits when the Marines can. And now going to try to dive in. They want to get to that drone line. Some Zerglings dying, but wow, JulyZerg with an excellent defense, pinning those Hellions to the wall. Show making a bit of a mistake, sending that Marine in. He's just going to his death. Poor Marine. And as a result, JulyZerg with a strong defense, he can continue to produce drones. He didn't really even lose a lot of Zerglings. Oftentimes when you lose all of your Zerglings to Hellions like that, you have to expend larvae to build more Zerglings rather than drones, so it slows your economy down. But here he's got plenty of Zerglings left out in the field, so he's running up, he's going to be aggressive with them. is going to, as a result, kill this SCV that's building this natural expansion for show. That'll slow his economy down, but it looks like he's going to be caught in open field against these Hellions. He's going to try to surround. He's not successful in doing so. These Hellions, as you can see, very mobile and very strong against the Zerglings, so able to take a lot of them out. And JulyZerg continuing to pump drones here in the background to continue to build that economy. Show did some economic damage, and he's a little bit safe, but ooh, and going with the heavy investment early, Banshees. That Banshees cost a lot to get, particularly early game, so he's going to have to do a lot of damage now against JulyZerg. He's going to run up in position to do so. So essentially what he's going to try to do is draw those queens off the front line and try to sneak these Hellions in and try to do as much damage as he possibly can. So right there, taking out some of the creep tumors which spread this creep, which all Zerg units move faster on creep. And now the Banshee moving up as well. The Queen is currently the only anti-air unit for JulyZerg. He doesn't have any structures that allow him to produce any additional anti-air units. In fact, it doesn't come until later in the match, basically when he upgrades his hatchery to a lair. And looks like Show is just going to try to do what he can. He's going to try to take out this extractor, do as much damage as he possibly can. The Queen's right there, though, attacking that Banshee, trying to push it back. You're also going to kill these Hellions on the low ground, but one Queen is, in fact, going to die. JulyZerg happy to expend it, looks like, because he has another Queen immediately out in the field. Now that Hellion's backed off, it is not providing high ground spotting, and as a result, these Hellions are going to just be taken out without even a fight right there. So really poor play right there from Show, but a nice defense again from JulyZerg. He took 0 damage from that. He got an evolution chamber up, which is going to allow him to plant these spore callers, which are anti-air units. He's also developing a spire, which will allow him to build a flying unit, which will be able to take out the Banshees. The Banshees can attack ground to air, but not air to air. And it looks like that Banshee is extremely damaged. So Show has a natural expansion up. JulyZerg, though, feeling comfortable enough in his map control with those air units coming, with the Zerglings he has on the ground. He actually upgraded to lair. So now the Overlords can spew this creep in open field. That is basically, that'll speed up units and speed up reinforcement points. Also, if Show tries to engage here, he's going to be at a mobility disadvantage because, again, the Zerglings are going to be able to move much faster on that. And so JulyZerg right now in a strong economic position. He's actually got 54 harvesters compared to 33. As soon as he runs up and saturates or puts drones up on this expansion, you'll see his income boost up greatly. And if you look at the comparative gas counts, he's way ahead in gas production over Show. So Show is forced basically to defend up. His best option is to probably, it looks like that Banshee's still running around trying to do some damage. This is pretty smart from JulyZerg, actually. Exposing his Zerglings basically is a big fat bait unit to draw him away from that 12 o'clock position, which still didn't have its defensive set up. Now it has a Queen and Spore Colony, so it should be safe. But Show has basically lost options to harass with this Banshee, so it was kind of a null investment for him. The Mutalists will be out momentarily. They're going to be able to take him out. And you can see JulyZerg feeling very comfortable. It feels like he has enough attack units out where he can defend without much trouble, so he's going to continue to produce that drone count to, again, to get a stronger economy up and rolling. And a second Banshee moving out in midfield, and it's not long for this life because the Mutalists flying out in the field, they can do a lot of damage extremely quickly. Oh, this poor Banshee. I assume this Banshee is going to die first. Yeah, the Mutalists is going to take it out very, very quickly. Poor thing. But this Banshee still is up and alive, and that'll at least keep the Mutalisks back off Show's main for a bit. They can't run up and harass until they've taken care of that second Banshee just because of the threat it poses. This will allow Show to get these missile turrets up, which are some nice latent ground defense, ground-to-air structures. But it looks like JulyZerg is going to ignore, so rather than going back and defending that additional Banshee, he's going to run up, take one of the missile turrets out. He's going to be able to, do a lot of damage here, picking up the mules, which come from these orbital commands. They only happen every 50 energy, and they actually produce at more than twice, get minerals at more than twice the rate of SCVs. So they're a very strong economic staple. That's really going to hurt Show's economy further, which is going to detriment his ability to produce more units. So JulyZerg in a strong position, has a ton of supply over Show, which is his raw unit count in both drones and attack units. So in a very strong, comfortable position here. Looks like Show had taken down the destructible rock that was sitting on his third base, but he's not really in a position where he can go out and take and hold that. Mules continuing to dive forward, continuing to kill SCVs. It looks like Show in a lot of trouble, moving the Marines back to try to get those Mutalisks back. But JulyZerg, you can see with those Mutalisks, he has a strong grip on map control, and as a result, he can just continue to build more units as he pleases in the backfield. But it looks like instead, yeah, he's going to get aggressive here. He feels like he has a strong enough economy. He's actually going to build a large army here. Upgrades coming along the way as well. So 24 Zerglings going to be fielded to add that 22 Mulist count. Show feeling like he's in trouble, needs to apply some counter pressure to JulyZerg. He's going to move out to do so. Unfortunately, he's not in a position to do so. Mutalisk's going to counter directly into his main. This is enough Mutalisk to take down that turret without much trouble. Show's going to try to group repair that turret right there, but even with all of the SCVs repairing it all at once, there's too many Mutalisks. They can just chew straight through it, and Show now losing a ton of SCVs. Hurts his economy because each of the, oh man, hurts his economy greatly, and the Mutalisk is doing a ton of damage to the front. Just going to go right through that bunker, kill a lot in this backfield, and now, yeah, and the Zergling's running up. He's completely just ran around that army in midfield, and now Show is just chewing in to Show's backbone economy. As a result, he's not going to be able to produce the units he needs. It looks like he's going to lose practically every SCV and his natural expansion. So economically, what he's running is he's got one base, which does not have a lot of minerals left. He does not have a lot of SCVs to even mine that, and he's going up against several bases that are fully saturated from JulyZerg. It looks like the Zerg are just going to dive in, try to do what they can, and the Mutalisks engaging, they're going to pick off some of these reinforcements, get a siege tank as well, and Show playing very sloppily in this match. Wow, he's just wreaking havoc. JulyZerg is managing them very well, showing good micromanagement. Looks like the Marine's going to try to chase them off at the very least. But natural expansion down. Now Show's big option here is he can try to sneak back in this game, which is not very likely because it looks like he's down to 5 harvesters. He has an input income of 160 minerals. So can you compare that to the much better income of JulyZerg? So he needs to do a desperation attack, throw everything he has forward against JulyZerg. The odds do not look good. JulyZerg has a very strong economy, so even if he loses all of his units, he could probably rebuild them rapidly, but Show is going to do whatever he can to try to win this match. Moving forward, Mutalisk surrounding with the Zerglings on top of that creep where they're very mobile. There's GG from Show, lost his army, last-ditch effort there. So hope you guys enjoy it. Again, looking for as much feedback as possible. Hopefully you understood what happened top to bottom. If you have any questions, again, let me know, and I'll try to kind of explain it in the next cast down the line. Thank you for listening.